The Boston Celtics injury report just dropped, and it could change the momentum of this entire week. The tension at TD Garden is already building because Wednesday's matchup against the Cleveland Cavaliers might look very different from what fans expected. But before we get into the breaking update that could shift the team's short-term future, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and click the hype button right now, because what's happening inside the Celtics locker room is a story you'll want to follow from start to finish. Jaylen Brown's name has been the focus of every medical update in Boston. The all-star forward strained his hamstring 2 weeks ago in that preseason battle against Toronto on October 15th. Since then, every step he takes on the court has been monitored, questioned, and even criticized. Yet, Brown has refused to sit out. Through discomfort and tightness, he's fought to stay in the lineup. Monday night against New Orleans, he scored 15 points, grabbed 7 rebounds, and sat early with 5 fouls. But here's what truly stood out: he didn't need to return. His teammates closed out the Pelicans, sealing the team's first win of the regular season. For Brown, that victory meant more than just a number in the standings. Speaking to reporters after the game, he said it clearly: "I had to get on the floor. We had to find a way to get the win." It's a glimpse into his mindset, one that blends determination with caution. Brown knows the history of hamstring injuries, knows how they linger, and he's learning how to play smarter, not just harder. That mix of intelligence and willpower might define Boston's early season. But now comes the breaking part. According to the team's official report, Jaylen Brown has been upgraded to probable for Wednesday's clash with the Cavaliers. That means the Celtics expect him to play. And the timing couldn't be more critical. After starting the year with just 1 win and 3 losses, Boston is entering its toughest stretch: Cleveland on Wednesday, Philadelphia on Friday, and Houston on Saturday. 3 games in 4 nights. 5 in 7 days. A brutal test for a roster still finding rhythm. This schedule is no accident. It's the NBA's way of exposing who's ready for the grind and who's not. Brown called it adversity that builds strong bones. But there's a question that still hangs in the air like the final seconds of a tied game. Can Jaylen Brown push through the pain and lead this team without risking something much bigger? Because as the Celtics prepare for their most demanding week yet, one truth feels unavoidable. The season's direction might depend not on how strong Brown looks on Wednesday night, but on how much his body can still take by the time Saturday arrives. So the question is, will Boston's determination become their biggest weapon or their greatest risk? Celtics' injury report has taken a turn that could completely reshape the week ahead. Jaylen Brown has officially been upgraded to probable for Wednesday night's matchup against the Cleveland Cavaliers at TD Garden. And while that word might sound routine on paper for Boston fans, it's a massive signal of what could come next. Brown's left hamstring has been the single biggest question inside the Celtics locker room. The injury first appeared in mid-October during the preseason finale against Toronto, forcing him to miss practice time and leaving him uncertain for opening night. Yet, time and again, he's chosen to push through. Against Detroit, he dropped 41 points on 12 for 25 shooting, showing flashes of his All-NBA form. Then, less than 24 hours later in New Orleans, despite tightness and fatigue, he suited up again. 15 points, 7 rebounds, limited minutes because of foul trouble, but a key part of Boston's first win of the season. That choice to play through pain wasn't just physical, it was psychological. The Celtics were winless at 0-3, and Brown knew that kind of start could snowball fast. His words after the game revealed everything. "Adversity makes strong bones," he said. "It's not going to get easier. It's only going to get tougher." It's the mentality of a leader who refuses to watch his team struggle from the sidelines, even at personal risk. And that risk is very real. Hamstring injuries aren't minor setbacks. They're unpredictable, capable of lingering for weeks or flaring up in an instant. Brown has lived through that before, missing multiple games in the 2021 season with a similar issue. That memory lingers, and it's why every step, every sprint, every sudden stop he makes is carefully evaluated by the medical staff. Still, through 4 games, Brown has averaged 26 points, nearly 6 rebounds, and close to 4 assists per game, all while shooting 50% from the field and 48% from deep. Boston's offense simply looks different when he's on the court. The numbers prove it. With Brown in the lineup, the Celtics post an offensive rating above 117. Without him, it drops significantly. That's the kind of impact that shifts games and seasons. But as head coach Joe Mazzulla said, he's a competitor. He'll always do what's best for the team. Now, as Boston prepares for its toughest stretch yet, with 5 games in 7 days, starting Wednesday against Cleveland, followed by Philadelphia and Houston, the stakes couldn't be higher. Jaylen Brown is probable. But the real question isn't if he'll play. It's how long he can keep pushing through the pain before it pushes back harder. And as the Celtics fight to build rhythm in a brutal early schedule, one question looms larger than any box score. Is Boston's determination to keep its star on the floor a show of strength, or the start of a dangerous gamble that could define their entire season? Breaking news out of Cleveland has just added more weight to Wednesday night's matchup in Boston. The Cavaliers will take the floor without one of their most reliable perimeter weapons. Sam Merrill, their best three-point shooter so far this season, has been officially ruled out with a right hip contusion. And this changes more than it seems. Merrill's absence might sound like a small detail on paper, but it's much bigger than that. Through the Cavaliers' first 3 games, head coach Kenny Atkinson didn't hesitate to call him the team's best player. Efficient, smart, and deadly from beyond the arc, Merrill has been a stabilizing presence on a Cleveland roster still adjusting to new rotations and early season rhythm. His chemistry with Evan Mobley and Darius Garland helped space the floor, opening lanes for Donovan Mitchell to attack, and now that weapon is gone. The injury came on Monday night in Detroit after a collision with Mobley himself, forcing Merrill to leave the game early. What first appeared as a precautionary exit turned into something more serious when medical staff confirmed a contusion in his right hip. Just like that, Cleveland loses a key piece of its offensive balance, a player shooting over 40% from deep, and one of the few capable of stretching Boston's defense to its limits. For the Celtics, this update brings both relief and responsibility. The absence of Merrill means fewer threats on the perimeter, but also a chance to expose Cleveland's second unit. Boston has been searching for rhythm defensively, and this might be the night to find it. Still, no team coached by Atkinson goes down easily. Cleveland's bench has been aggressive and physical, and with the Celtics facing a tight schedule, the margin for error remains razor thin. There's also the psychological angle. Losing a top shooter 2 hours before tip-off can shake a team's confidence. But for Cleveland, it might ignite something else, a next-man-up mentality that teams often find dangerous energy in. And that's exactly what Boston must prepare for. So now the question becomes larger than one player. Without Sam Merrill, can the Cavaliers still keep up from beyond the arc, or will the Celtics finally have the defensive breakthrough they've been chasing since opening night? Because if Boston fails to capitalize on this opportunity, the story after Wednesday might not be about who didn't play, but about who didn't step up. Boston Celtics might finally have found the spark they've been searching for. After a rocky start to the season filled with lineup changes and uncertain chemistry, 2 young wings have emerged as a breath of fresh air. Josh Minott and Hugo Gonzalez are showing exactly what this team needs: energy, defense, and an attitude that refuses to back down. And the way these two are impacting games could quietly mark the beginning of something much bigger. Before we dive into the full story, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit that hype button, because what's happening in Boston right now deserves every ounce of your attention. Let's start with Josh Minott. In his first career start, he delivered one of the most complete performances any young Celtic has had in recent memory. 15 points, 9 rebounds, and a team best plus 42 in the win over New Orleans. Every possession he touched had purpose. His verticality and energy changed the pace of the game, and for the first time this season, Boston looked alive from the opening tip. Minott doesn't need the ball to be effective, but somehow he always finds it. Whether it's crashing the offensive glass or disrupting passing lanes, his presence has shifted the Celtics' balance of effort and impact. The numbers prove it. With Minott on the court, Boston's defensive rebounding rate on missed three-pointers jumps by 17%. That's not luck. That's impact. And then there's Hugo Gonzalez. Only 20 years old and already defending names like Jalen Brunson and Cade Cunningham. He's the 12th youngest player in the league, yet he carries himself like a seasoned veteran. His first game came under the bright lights of Madison Square Garden, and he didn't flinch. 2 aggressive drives to the rim, fearless defense, and constant pressure. Gonzalez doesn't play like someone hoping for minutes. He plays like someone who knows he belongs. His conditioning and defensive instincts are allowing him to compete at NBA speed, while most rookies are still adjusting. Together, Minott and Gonzalez represent something Boston has been missing for years: young wings who play with urgency, athleticism, and defensive hunger. They're not just filling gaps. They're setting a tone. Their ability to press full court, force turnovers, and attack the rim is giving head coach Joe Mazzulla new options and forcing teammates to raise their own intensity. Yes, there are limitations. Neither player is yet reliable from three-point range, and spacing remains a concern when they share the floor. But even so, that defensive chemistry is too intriguing to ignore. The energy these two bring can wear down opponents and spark runs that change the rhythm of entire games. And that's where the suspense lies. Because if the Celtics can nurture these young wings, give them room to grow, and trust their development, they might not just be short-term solutions. They could become the backbone of the team's next identity. So here's the real question. Are Josh Minott and Hugo Gonzalez just promising young players finding their footing, or are we witnessing the rise of the new era of Boston basketball taking flight right before our eyes? Mark your like, subscribe, and click the hype button, because the next chapter for the Celtics might already be unfolding.